Good morning, Celtic fans, and welcome back to the channel. There's lots of Celtic news kicking around this morning, so make sure that you do watch the video until the end. And then once the video is over, make sure that you jump over to hoopsmerch.co.uk where you can check out the latest merchandise from the channel. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, because it is completely free, and we are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers on the channel before we play the Sevco in December. Right, the big news this morning is obviously we won at the weekend, and David Martindale has been talking about one Celtic player's performance at the weekend. Obviously that 3-0 win over Livingston was basically simply brilliant as far as we're concerned, especially after Joe Hart so read through halfway through the first half. We all thought the worst at that point, but there was a particular player that David Martindale thought was absolutely amazing, and it was the winger Dyson Maeda. And he says basically his display against us was unbelievable. He says, I'm not being funny. I think anyone watching Dyson in terms of his work rate, he's like 3 men pressing. He's like, I'm not even kidding. I remember, I think we got the ball and we recycled it from our left to the mid-third and then to the right-hand side. He was the one that was pressing in the wide areas. That's something that I've tried to drum into our players. Top players do it. They've got it in their locker. He's played at World Cups and he's played in the Champions League for a reason. He then went on to say, he said, look, he is at a different level. He is absolutely at a different level. Chris Sutton also got on it. He says, he doesn't simply just press, he helps the team defensively. Talking about Dyson Maeda, he has been talking to the media after the game. And he was basically said, look, when you're playing in Champions League level, you can't really make any excuses about the physicality or the pitches. We've had to treat domestic league exactly the same. We have to focus on our own style and show the way that we can play. This is hopefully how we will win. Hopefully we can show more and more of this in the coming weeks, says Dyson Maeda. He then went on to say, he says, look, the most important thing as the Champions League is confidence. He said, we lost the other day, and we're going to talk about the Champions League in this video also, and a bit of bad news for Celtic. But Dyson, he did say, look, it allows us to take confidence into Europe the way that we played on Saturday. He said, winning in the league is the most important thing first. Then we can have the belief to go into European matches. Dyson said, the manager has started me in recent games, and I think I didn't score, but I'm grateful. He said, he trusts me. Before the game on Saturday, he told me I was going to score. I was happy to repay his faith, said Dyson Maeda. So Brendan has obviously got a lot of faith in him, and he's changed the way that he plays just slightly, and he wants more goals out of Dyson, which will come this season, hopefully. 3 stats from a game that I played yesterday, and it's probably not good news for Celtic fans, or Celtic. After playing Real Madrid last season in the Champions League, we drew Atletico Madrid this season. And we thought it might be a little bit easier than playing Real Madrid. We'll think again, Celtic fans, as Atletico Madrid beat Real Madrid last night 3-1. Yes, they beat Real Madrid 3-1 at Atletico's ground, at their home ground. For me, it is the game, the standout game of the competition for the obvious reasons, and it's one that I can't wait to go to. But them beating the team that absolutely basically demolished us in the second half at Celtic Park last season, it is going to be some game. Real Madrid played Union Berlin in the Champions League in midweek, and Madrid's quality basically shone through. But they were beaten by the team that Celtic face in the Champions League in just a couple of weeks. Yes, they beat Real Madrid 3-1. So for me, that's a bit of bad news for Celtic, because it shows that the quality of this team is just as good as Real Madrid. One person at Celtic Park is going absolutely nowhere, which is good news for Celtic. We always like to finish the video off with a good news story. Darren has rejected Inverness approach and has decided to stay with Celtic. Obviously, Darren is the B team coach, and he has ruled himself out of the managerial position at Inverness, opting to continue his coaching duties at Celtic with the B team, which is fantastic news for Celtic. We do need to get some more players coming directly through from the B team. We've spoke about this many times on this channel. The fact that we're buying in players at 20 and 21 years old to basically improve those players and sell them on. We should be bringing through players from our own academy that cost absolutely nothing. I mean, look what we did with Kieran Tierney, for instance. Kieran Tierney went on to be a fantastic player and still is a fantastic player and is now plying his trade in Spain and who's having an absolutely fantastic time by all accounts in Spain playing his football. Inverness had received permission to engage discussions with Odie regarding his role, so Celtic were happy to let him go if he wished. Odie completed an opportunity and he had discussions with the club, but you know, nothing was happening. He basically says, look, Darren was flattered by the approach, but it isn't something that he's interested in at this point of his career, and has ruled himself out of the running of the Inverness job, which is good news for Celtic B team. But do Celtic need to be improving the B team? We are spending 20 million on the new facilities for the academy, but as far as I'm concerned, Celtic need to be producing more players that come directly into the first team. There's no use putting the likes of Bosun Lowell out on loan and Montgomery out on loan if they are good enough to go out on loan to get game time, and we're buying in players at the exact same age as them to try and improve them and sell them on. Celtic need to be bringing through at least 3 players or 2 players every season from the academy into the first team to just get them training with the first team, get them, you know, a little bit game time with the first team. If you can improve these players, you know, and we could sell them on for another 25 million, it puts the club in an even better financial position. So tell me your thoughts about that in the comments. Tell me what you think about Darren Odie staying with the club after being approached by Inverness. Tell me what you think about Dyson Maeda at the weekend. He was absolutely immense. I mean, there was a lot of people talking on the live last night. It's like, let's have some appreciation for Dyson. The fact that the Livingston manager, David Martindale, basically said this guy is top drawer. Chris Sutton said his work rate is absolutely aspiring. Imagine having it. He played almost 30 minutes with 9 men Celtic and in the Champions League. Follow that up with a game against Livingston with 10 men, and Dyson Maeda made it look as if we still had every man on the pitch, which is absolutely fantastic. He said, look, it is undoubtedly there's going to be some sniffing about for Dyson, and can Celtic keep him? Despite his flaws in the final third, he is getting better. People are saying he's not a striker. He does play as the main striker for Japan. The manager, Brendan Rodgers, has said to him, look, you will score more goals for Celtic. He did say to him that he would score at the weekend, and he did. You know, Maeda's calibre is there in abundance for us all to see. Make sure you join me for tonight's live. That will be around about 5:30 Celtic Park time. And until then, have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.